Amidst the vast African landscapes, where the sun paints the horizon with golden hues and the breeze whispers ancient secrets, there was a village called Iyabo. Here, feminine beauty was measured by the slender circumference of the waist, a mark of desire and admiration. In the heart of this village, there grew a girl named Iyabo, whose life was about to challenge these conventions. As a child, Iyabo was like any other girl her age, light and cheerful, her smile reflecting the innocence of childhood. But as the years passed, something inside her changed. An insatiable appetite took over her being, an uncontrollable desire to taste every flavor, to satisfy a hunger that seemed endless. Every meal was a feast, every dish, a promise of ephemeral comfort. Iyabo's curves began to expand, a transformation the village was not prepared to understand. She became the fattest woman in Iyabo, a living contrast to the narrow standards of beauty that reigned. Her presence was a constant reminder of the fragility of the village's ideals, a silent challenge to what was considered beautiful. In every averted gaze, in every muffled whisper, Iyabo felt the weight of rejection. But there was something deeper in her journey, something that went beyond appearances. There was a strength, a resilience, an indomitable spirit that refused to be defined only by the body she inhabited. In Iyabo, there was the promise of an untold story, of a beauty that transcended skin and bones, a beauty that the village of Iyabo was about to discover in ways they could never imagine. As Iyabo gained weight, the looks that were once of curiosity and acceptance turned into silent judgments and disdain. The men of the village, who once admired her joy and liveliness, now avoided her, ignoring her smile and generous heart. They no longer invited her to dance at parties or walk through the market. Iyabo became invisible to those who once saw her as an essential part of community life. The days dragged on, and Iyabo watched with a heavy heart as her childhood friends married one by one, forming families and building homes. She remained alone, a solitary figure at celebrations, a shadow at gatherings once filled with shared laughter. The loneliness weighed more than any cruel comment, more than any disdainful glance. It was a loneliness that accompanied her upon waking and deepened as night fell. Her father, a kind man with eyes weary from worry, witnessed his daughters suffering with a sorrow known only to parents. He could not bear to see his once vibrant girl wither before rejection. Determined to change her fate, he decided to find her a husband. Perhaps, he thought, if someone could see the true beauty of Iyabo, the beauty he saw every day, his daughter could be happy again. Then hope emerged, a young man named T, who had returned to the village after years of living in the city. T was seeking a wife, and Iyabo's father saw a golden opportunity. With a hopeful heart, he arranged a meeting, believing that perhaps T could see beyond appearances, that he could see the vibrant soul and kindness that Iyabo possessed. The news of a potential suitor filled Iyabo with a mix of joy and anxiety. Could this be her chance to be loved? To be seen? On the night before the meeting, she spent hours preparing, attending to every detail with a delicacy and deep desire to be accepted. Her eyes shone with new hope, a flame burning against the darkness of rejection. When T arrived at Iyabo's home, reality proved cruel. Upon seeing Iyabo, disappointment etched itself on his face. He could not hide his displeasure, and harsh words escaped before he could restrain them. "I cannot marry a mountain of a woman," he said, the words cutting like sharp blades. And so he left, leaving Iyabo with a shattered heart, each piece reflecting a broken hope, a torn joy. The pain of rejection reverberated within her, stronger than ever. The tears flowed incessantly, and loneliness became a constant companion, more cruel and relentless. But even in the darkness of pain, a spark of determination began to shine. Iyabo knew she had to find a way out, an answer to her suffering. It was this spark that led her to seek help beyond the bounds of human understanding, to seek the wisdom and power of the river goddess, where her destiny would begin to change in ways she could never imagine. When T met Iyabo, the initial silence spoke louder than any words. His eyes, filled with expectations, quickly turned into wells of disappointment. He looked her up and down, each second prolonging Iyabo's agony, each glance reinforcing her deepest insecurities. The words that followed were raw and heartless. "I can't marry a mountain of a woman," he said, each syllable cutting like a sharp knife. Without another word, T turned his back and left, leaving an overwhelming emptiness where Iyabo's hope had been. Iyabo felt as if the ground had opened up beneath her feet. T's rejection was like a crushing wave, stripping her of all her strength. Back in her room, she sank into her mattress, tears flowing freely. Each sob was a silent cry of pain, each tear a witness to a broken heart. She locked the door, not just to keep the world out, but to try and contain the flood of emotions threatening to drown her. Days turned into endless nights, and Iyabo stayed in her room, her voluntary prison. The sun rose and set, but for her, it all seemed like one long, unending night. The hunger that once controlled her now had no power. She could barely eat. With every breath, she felt the crushing weight of rejection, the constant echo of T's cruel words. Her father, powerless before his daughter's pain, tried to console her through the locked door, but his words couldn't penetrate the wall of sadness Iyabo had built. Friends and neighbors also tried, but she couldn't open up. The world seemed distant, as if she were isolated on an island of despair, where her only company was pain. Amid the darkness, Iyabo began to wonder if she would ever escape the spiral of sadness. She knew she couldn't go on like this, that she needed to find a way to rise again. Her mind wandered for solutions, for anything that could ease her pain. And in this sea of emotions, an idea began to take shape, an idea that would lead her to seek something greater, something that transcended human understanding. Determined to find a way out of her suffering, Iyabo decided to seek the help of the river goddess, a mystical figure said to have the power to transform lives. With this decision, a new spark of hope ignited within her. Could this goddess offer her the answer she so desperately needed? Could she finally find the peace and acceptance she longed for? So, with a heart still heavy but now with a clear goal, Iyabo prepared to leave her room and face the world again. She knew her journey was just beginning, and the answers she sought might be closer than she imagined. Determined to find a solution to her pain, Iyabo left her room on a quiet morning as the sun was rising over the village of Aok. Each step she took was heavy, as if sadness and hope were battling within her. The cool breeze caressed her face, and the soft sound of the distant river called out to her, promising something beyond what the eyes could see. Upon reaching the river's edge, Iyabo stopped, taking a moment to breathe deeply. With a heart full of anxiety and expectation, she called out to the river goddess, her voice trembling as she pleaded for help. A great river goddess, hear my plea. I need your help. I am in great need. For a moment, the world seemed to fall silent. Then, the surface of the river began to bubble, and a majestic figure emerged from the waters. The river goddess, with her glowing blue skin and an aura of serenity and power, appeared before Iyabo. Her eyes were deep and understanding, and as she looked at Iyabo, she seemed to comprehend all the pain and suffering the young woman bore. Iyabo, the goddess began, her voice as gentle as the river's murmur, you are beautiful just as you are. Your beauty is not limited to outward appearances, but is something that shines from within. Iyabo felt tears streaming down her face upon hearing these words of acceptance she had longed for. But, the goddess continued, I understand your desire to be loved and accepted. I promise you that before the next market day, you will find a man who will love and cherish you as you deserve. Iyabo felt a mix of emotions. The promise of love seemed like a balm for her wounds, a light in the darkness surrounding her. Yet, there was still a part of her, a part that was hurt and angry, that desired something more. Something that would make all those who despised her feel her pain. Even so, she thanked the goddess with a heart full of renewed hope and returned to the village with a renewed purpose. The following days were filled with anticipation and anxiety. Iyabo prepared for the next market day with a mix of hope and nervousness. She did not know how this promised man would appear, but the goddess's promise was an anchor that kept her steady amidst waves of doubt and insecurity. As she waited, Iyabo reflected on the goddess's words, on the need to love herself as she was. She began to see that her journey was not just about finding someone who would love her, but also about learning to love and accept herself. This was a difficult path, full of ups and downs, but Iyabo was determined to walk it. Finally, market day arrived. Iyabo dressed carefully, each detail an expression of her hope and desire to be seen and loved. She went to the market with her heart pounding, each step echoing the goddess's promise. And there, among the crowd, she hoped to find the one who would love her, who would see her true beauty. The goddess's promise was her guide, a beacon of hope in her journey to find not just the love of others, but also love for herself. Despite the goddess's promise, a seed of resentment began to grow in Iyabo's heart. Each moment of rejection and every disdainful look resurfaced in her mind, feeding a flame of hatred and vengeance. She remembered all the times she was humiliated, all the lonely nights she spent crying. This accumulated weight became unbearable, and Iyabo felt the need to make those who scorned her pay for the suffering they caused her. One night, unable to contain her anger, Iyabo returned to the river, her soul boiling with conflicting emotions. She called out to the river goddess, her voice filled with pain and determination. A great goddess, I can no longer bear this pain. I want all the men who humiliated me to suffer as I have suffered. I want them to feel the pain and shame they made me feel. The river goddess, with her serene presence, observed Iyabo in silence for a moment. Her eyes showed a mix of sadness and understanding. Finally she spoke, Iyabo, your pain is deep, but the path of vengeance is filled with darkness. However, if this is your will, so be it. The next morning, a murmur of panic spread through the village of Aok. All the men discovered, with horror and disbelief, that they had lost their virility. Panic spread like wildfire, and the men, desperate and ashamed, ran to the village priest, seeking answers and a solution to their mysterious affliction. The priest, a man known for his spiritual knowledge and mystical powers, consulted his oracles and discovered the shocking truth. It is Iyabo, he proclaimed, the woman you scorned and humiliated. She sought vengeance from the river goddess, and now you suffer the consequences of your actions. Shock and disbelief gripped the village. The men, who once looked at Iyabo with disdain, now saw her with a mix of fear and respect. The only solution, according to the priest, was that each man must sleep with Iyabo. Only then would their virility be restored. For Iyabo, the turn of events was bittersweet. On one hand, she felt avenged. Each man who rejected her now suffered and desired her in a way she never imagined. But on the other hand, there was a sense of emptiness, a shadow of doubt growing in her heart. Would this vengeance truly bring her peace? Could the power over men fill the void left by rejection? As the men lined up outside her house, Iyabo saw the power of her new position. Each of them, upon entering her room, was consumed by an irresistible desire. But outside that room, the reality was different. The men returned to their wives, impotent and unable to feel any desire that wasn't for Iyabo. For the wives, the situation was unbearable. Desperate, they went to the priest, begging for a way to break the curse. The priest, moved by the women's pleas, consulted his oracles once more and found a solution. He gave the women a pot with a magical substance and taught them an incantation to break the curse. That night, while the men were once again at Iyabo's house, the wives put their plan into action. They spread the magical substance around the house and recited the incantation. Slowly, the curse began to dissipate. The men awoke from a trance, their minds clearing, and returned to their wives, asking for forgiveness and explaining they had been under a dark influence. When Iyabo woke up the next morning, she realized she was alone. The men had returned to their wives, and the river goddess no longer answered her calls. The curse was broken, and Iyabo found herself back at the starting point, but with an even heavier heart. The pain and loneliness returned, but this time accompanied by deep regret. Iyabo realized that vengeance had not brought her the peace she desired, but rather more pain. She understood, too late, that true power lay in acceptance and self-love, not in revenge. With a heart full of regret, Iyabo walked once more to the river, but this time seeking forgiveness and a new chance to find peace within herself. The revelations of the priest spread like wildfire through the village, leaving the men in shock and disbelief. The news that Iyabo was responsible for their loss of virility filled them with a mixture of fear and hopelessness. The solution to their affliction, sleeping with the woman they had scorned, seemed both a cruel punishment and an ironic twist of fate. The men, who once refused to look at Iyabo, now found themselves lined up outside her house, each waiting their turn with a mix of anxiety and shame. As they crossed the threshold, a magical transformation seemed to occur. Inside Iyabo's house, rejection and disdain evaporated, replaced by an uncontrollable desire. The men's eyes shone with an intensity they had never felt before, and their words, once full of scorn, were now whispers of adoration. For Iyabo, the situation was surreal. Seeing the men who had humiliated her now crawling to her, desiring her fervently, was both a sweet revenge and a bitter experience. In each encounter, she felt a brief euphoria, a sense of power she had never known. But when the doors closed and silence fell again, loneliness and emptiness returned with full force. Outside her house, the men returned to their lives, but with a different burden. Next to their wives, they felt powerless, unable to experience any desire or pleasure not connected to Iyabo. Their marital lives quickly deteriorated, and frustration grew, both among the men and their wives. The women of the village, desperate and enraged, united. They saw their homes disintegrating, their husbands becoming shadows of their former selves. Determined to restore peace and harmony in their lives, they went to the priest, begging for a solution. The pain in the wife's eyes touched the priest's heart, and he decided to intervene once more. The priest consulted the ancient oracles and found a way to break the curse. He gave the wives a pot containing a magical substance and taught them a powerful incantation. You must spread this substance around Iyabo's house and recite this incantation. Only then will the curse be broken, and your husbands will be freed. That night, while the men were once again at Iyabo's house, the wives put their plan into action. Moving stealthily under the cover of darkness, they approached Iyabo's house, their hands trembling with nervousness and determination. They spread the magical substance around the house and, with united voices, recited the incantation taught by the priest. The effect was immediate. Inside the house, the men began to wake from a trance, their eyes clearing as Iyabo's magical influence dissipated. They stood up, confused and ashamed, realizing what they had done. One by one, they left the house, returning to their wives with pleas for forgiveness on their lips and promises of redemption in their hearts. For Iyabo, the awakening was devastating. She woke up alone, the silence filling the house where there had once been whispers of adoration. The pain of loneliness returned with full force, and she realized that the power she had felt was just a fleeting illusion. The true acceptance and love she desired remained out of reach. With a heavy heart and tears in her eyes, Iyabo returned to the river. She called out to the river goddess, but this time, her pleas were met only by the silence of the waters. The goddess did not appear, and Iyabo understood that she was alone in her journey of redemption. She needed to find within herself the strength to move forward, to learn to love and accept herself, regardless of others' approval. So, Iyabo returned to the village, determined to rebuild her life. She knew it would be a difficult path, but she also knew she had within her the strength to overcome any obstacle. And as she walked through the village, she felt, for the first time in a long while, a spark of hope ignite in her heart. The wives of the village, gripped by palpable desperation, gathered in secret, their low voices carrying the weight of their anguish. Their homes were falling apart, and their husbands, once vigorous and loving, had become distant and powerless outside Iyabo's presence. Determined to regain the harmony in their lives, they sought the help of the one man who seemed to understand the mystical forces at play, the village priest. Dem women dem approached D priest with begging eyes and hearts full of hope. D priest, touched by D clear pain for their faces, decide to act. For a ceremony full of mystery and reverence, D priest consult D old oracles and find solution to break D curse. E give D wives one pot way contain magical substance and E teach dem one powerful incantation, words full of old wisdom. Unago spread this substance around Iyabo house, explain, voice deep and firm. And recite this incantation. Not only so curse go break, and una husbands go day free. With pot for hand and hearts way day beat with anxiety, wives wait till nightfall. Under cover of darkness, dem move with silent determination go Iyabo house. Dem hands day shake as dem spread magical substance around house, each movement full of hope and fear. Dem form circle and with trembling voices, recite incantation way priest Don teach dem. For one moment, silence reign absolute. Then, one whisper of wind seemed to surround house, and one vibrant energy fill air. Inside house, men start to wake from trance, dem eyes clear as Iyabo magical influence disappear. Dem stand up, confused and ashamed, realizing wetin dem don do. One by one, dem leave house, returning to their wives with apologies for their lips and promises of redemption for their hearts. For Iyabo, awakening na devastation. She wake up alone, silence fill house way before get whispers of adoration. Pain of loneliness come back with full force, and she realize say power way she feel not just passing illusion. True acceptance and love way she desire still out of reach. Wives, now reuniting with their husbands, feel deep relief. Their homes, once marked by pain and involuntary betrayal, start to heal. Men, free from magical influence, return to be loving husbands and fathers dem be before. Village begin to breathe easier, normalcy slowly return to their lives. For Iyabo, reality much darker. With heavy heart and tears for her eyes, she returned to river. She call out to river goddess, but this time, her pleas meet only silence of waters. Goddess no show, and Iyabo understand say she alone for her journey of redemption. She need to find inside herself strength to move forward, to learn to love and accept herself, no matter what others think. So, Iyabo returned to village, determined to rebuild her life. She no say na go be hard path, but she also no say she get strength inside her to overcome any obstacle. And as she walk through village, she feel, for first time in a long while, one spark of hope ignite for her heart. She promise herself say, from that moment on, she go look for new way to live, one way no depend on others' acceptance, but on love and respect for herself. Following days be days of introspection and growth for Iyabo. She start to help for village, offering her time and skills to those way need am. Small, community begin see Iyabo for new way, no be as woman way dem reject and curse, but as strong and resilient figure, capable to turn adversity into immense inner strength. So, Iyabo journey to find her true worth continue, one step at a time, towards life of self-acceptance and peace. Iyabo wake up one quiet morning, feeling strangely empty. She look around her house, hoping to see some sign of events of previous night, but everything calm. Her memory foggy, like say one mist dawn cover her memories. She no fit remember details, but she feel deep weight for her heart, one feeling of loss way she no fit explain. As she comet from her house, village calm. Men dawn return to their wives, and life start to normalize. Iyabo walker through D streets of Aok, feeling D furtive glances and muffled whispers of D residents. She feel like stranger for her own home, disconnected and lonely. Trying to understand wetin don happen, Iyabo go to D river, her sanctuary of hope and despair. She call out to D river goddess, her voice full of plea and regret. But D surface of D water remain calm, without answer. D river goddess no show again, leaving Iyabo with deep emptiness. Now then reality hit her with full force. Iyabo understands say her quest for vengeance, fueled by pain and anger, don cost her D chance for true love and acceptance. D goddess promise, to find man way go love her, don sacrifice for bitter desire for revenge. And now she day alone, once again, but with new understanding of D consequences of her choices. Iyabo's loneliness now day accompanied by bitter reflection. Sitting by D river, she reflect on D pathway she don take, on D decisions way lead her there. She feel deep sorrow, but also renewed determination. She know say she need to change, to find way to redeem herself, to turn her pain into something positive. As days pass, Iyabo start to dedicate herself to helping others for D village. She use her experience of pain and loneliness to offer comfort and support to those way they suffer too. Small, D village begin see Iyabo in new light. No be as D cursed and rejected woman again, but as person way, despite everything, they determined to make difference. Iyabo learned to accept her imperfections and to value her own strength and resilience. She find peace by connecting with others, by offering her help and by building relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. D pain still day there, one scar way no go ever completely disappear, but she don find way to live with to grow from Iyabo's journey to self-acceptance no easy, but be transformative. She realize say true love no need to come from another person, but fit be found within herself. And as she find that self-love, she open the door for others to see her for who she really be, a strong, resilient woman, worthy of love and respect. So, life for Aok continue, but Iyabo no be the same again. She don turn her pain into strength, her revenge into compassion, and her loneliness into deep connection with her true self and with others around her. Iyabo's story become legend for D village. One constant reminder say true power day come from inside and say self-acceptance and self-love be D keys to true happiness. Iyabo's story, marked by pain and redemption, become powerful reminder for everybody for D village of Aok. Her journey show how anger and greed fit corrode D soul, turning pain into weapon way they hurt both D person way hold and those around them. D obsession for superficial beauty standards, way Iyabo once day desperately chase, reveal itself as destructive illusion, incapable of bringing true peace or happiness. Iyabo teach D village say true value of person no day for their appearance, but in their character, their ability to love and forgive, and their resilience in face of adversity. Her life become living illustration of Proverbs 4 verse 23, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Iyabo discover, through her own painful experience, say day essential to protect the heart from destructive feelings and to cultivate self-love and compassion. The lesson way Iyabo leave for the village deep, true beauty and strength day come from inside. Self-acceptance day fundamental, and seeking revenge or giving in to anger only bring more suffering. Instead, finding strength in vulnerability and turning pain into compassion fit open paths to healing and genuine connection. For viewers of this narrative, there be powerful message to carry. We all day susceptible to same mistakes way Iyabo make. All of us, at some point, fit be consumed by anger, pain, and need for external validation. However, day crucial to remember say path to true peace and happiness day lie in self-acceptance, compassion for others, and protecting our hearts from destructive feelings. Iyabo's journey day invite us to reflect on our own lives and to consider how we handle our pains and rejections. She remind us say, despite adversities, there always opportunity for transformation and growth. By guarding our hearts with diligence and seeking true acceptance and love, we find strength to overcome any challenge and live according to our true value. Thank you for following us in this deeply human and emotional story. Make Iyabo's lessons serve as beacon of wisdom and compassion in your own journeys. Until the next story, make we always learn and grow together.